Welcome back. It's now time for the financial week. Grave concern is emerging over Jamaica's orange economy, with fears that a widening investment gap could stifle its growth and weaken the country's competitiveness abroad. Here's Deirdre Thomas with part 3 of Juicing the Orange Economy.
Jamaica's creative industry has long been hailed as a global treasure, but at home, questions remain if enough is being invested to help it grow.
As it relates to this area in particular, there are a lot of buildings that are abandoned, and I think if we could support persons who want to get into entrepreneurship in order to utilize these buildings, they represent a time in our history when downtown was more.
One of the most striking examples of abandoned building which he speaks of is the War Theatre. Declared a national monument in 2000, the building has received many promises of repair. TVJ News revealed in an investigation earlier this year that more than $85 million have already been spent on restoration. Yet, the theatre has been closed for over 15 years, unable to host the productions it was once famous for, following a series of damaging weather events. It's why poets like Britton Wright worry about the future of his craft.
It's a dying art and a dying tradition.
For the current fiscal year, the government has allotted $3.2 billion for arts and cultural services, but 57% goes towards salaries and travel expenses, with less than 5% invested in fixed asset and capital goods like infrastructure and equipment that could help the creative sector to grow and compete internationally. Director of Tourism Donovan White agrees that more needs to be done.
Our proficiency in the arts has allowed Jamaicans to be recognized in the four corners of the earth. And it would be a travesty if we don't use some of the immediate advancements that we're making on the tourism side in terms of opening new market spaces for tourists to come to Jamaica, to not use some of those very same new lanes that are being created to expand the use of and create opportunities for the orange economy in Jamaica.
Mexico, for instance, is the top exporter of creative assets in Latin America and the Caribbean, with its audiovisual industry generating over $16 billion. Alex Pace is the Jamaica Tourist Board regional representative from Latin America. He says Jamaica is lagging behind.
Not only when it comes to cuisine, music, but there's a lot more that we can certainly engage with the Latin American market.
According to the United Nations Trade and Development, in 2019, the film, animation, and the music industries accounted for 6.2% of Jamaica's GDP. The question now is, how serious could the consequences be if the orange economy continues to be treated as secondary? That concern is being echoed on the ground. This timely announcement by Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, just days after a Dintil Technical High School band member stressed that creativity and the business behind it must be taught in schools.
And I think we have a good curriculum, but there are changes that need to be made to it in terms of incentivizing creativity and incentivizing design thinking. And one of the things I'm most excited about is the fact that we've committed to doing 3 performing arts high schools in Jamaica. For a country that is so good at culture, for us to have no performing arts high school is a problem.
Deirdre Thomas, TVJ News.
On the stock market, the JSE index declined by 1,182 points, while the junior market index declined by 14 points. The winners include Pulse Investments, G West Corporation ordinary shares, 138 Student Living Jamaica variable preference shares, First Rock Real Estate Investment, and Kentire Holdings. The losers included Medical Disposable and Supplies, ISP Finance Services, AS Bradden & Sons Holdings, Jetcon Corporation, and Berger Paints Jamaica, 31 stocks traded firm. Foreign exchange trading ended with banks and cambios selling the US dollar for an average $161.34. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $115.85. The pound is going for $216.85, while the euro is selling for an average $190.80. And that's it for the financial week. News from overseas is next.